Hey everybody, it's Paul with Home Inspections by PJM Incorporated. I had an experience over the last couple of days that I want to share with you, and I thought it would be a great moment to share this with you so that I can help home buyers the most. I think real estate agents as well, but a lot of good real estate agents already know what I'm going to share. So if you already know this, please ignore it. But home buyers, if you're looking at new home construction, understand we are finding quite a bit of deficiencies in new homes that are recently built to everybody's surprise, but not the home inspector's surprise because we've been seeing this for quite some time. The trades are diminished. It's a very difficult time right now in the industry, especially for builders. They have a hard time really getting really good contractors out there to do the work. Having said that, what you need to know as a home buyer, please listen carefully. If you are looking at a new home construction purchase and you like a community and you like a particular house, before you agree to buy anything, understand that you have the right to do a home inspection to have a qualified inspector look at a property for you. What you need to know, uh, and it's very important, is this. Builders have paperwork that they ask inspectors to sign agreeing to the following. They say the inspector's not allowed to go on the roof, the inspector's not allowed to enter the attic space, the inspector's not allowed to perform circuit testing on electrical stuff. There's a whole lot of restrictions that some of the builders place on home inspectors. Here's the thing that you need to know, not all of the builders actually enforce it, at least not all superintendents. So without naming names or any builders or anything like that or any superintendents, I can tell you that the vast majority of the building managers that I personally deal with and I know other inspectors deal with, they are going to let you do your inspection the way that you would any home, a pre-existing home, the way your license says that you ought to. And that means take a look at the roof, the attic, the electrical system, and so on. Having said that, I think it's important for you to know that if you're going to have an inspection before you even put an offer to purchase a new home, a new construction home, find out what the builder's policy is and how strict they are in enforcing that policy. A third party inspection is your right. It's your right to bring someone in to check out the work. You have every right to do it. Now, if you're going to hire a home inspector, doesn't it make sense to make sure that that builder, that community is not going to limit the access of your home inspector, whoever it is you choose? That inspector is there to do a job. Mostly experienced professional home inspectors that have done thousands and thousands of homes over the years, they have a system and they know what they're supposed to do, what they're there to do, and how to help you most. So if you're able to nip this up front, if you're looking at a new construction home, you could take care of this right before you even decide to buy it. Make sure you talk to the representative you're talking to as far as purchasing the home. If you have a real estate agent, which I completely advocate, you should not be buying a new construction home without representation. It's not a good idea because that real estate agent that represents you will go to bat for you. That's I think very important. But if you handle that up front, I'm going to make an offer on this house or I'd like to purchase this house. I do want to have an inspection done and I want to make sure that whoever I choose as a home buyer has the right to inspect the house the same way any other home would be inspected under what their license requires or what my expectations are. In other words, I want them to inspect the roof. I want them to go into the attic space. I want them to take electrical panel covers off and observe the wiring. I want them to check things. Let them know up front. It's important because if you don't do that, when it comes time for your inspection, the home inspector that you hire will go out there and guess what? Some superintendent that maybe isn't as flexible, let's just say, as the majority are, they're going to put the brakes on your guy or your girl going on the roof or going in the attic, things that you want looked at. And that's not the time to handle it because if you're going to handle it then, it ends up being a really tedious situation. The best thing to do is to try and handle that up front. So if you're a home buyer, I don't know if you were aware of this or not. Builders, new construction, they're the only ones that put restrictions on the home inspection process. Like, in other words, if you buy a pre existing home, no seller that I've ever met, all the years I've been doing this, has ever said, you can have it inspected. We're agreeing to give you 8, 10, 5 days to have it inspected, but I don't want your inspector to check my electrical panel and I don't want them on the roof. That never happens. So why are home builders exempt from this? So this is a point of contention for me as a home inspector. 99% of the time, I get the job done regardless of what the builder is saying I need to do. And that's simply through working with the representatives. Usually, the building managers are very understanding of what we're there to do. And they actually like us to find things that they may not have found. They want to take care of the customer, and that really is the goal. So, if you got a good superintendent or a good building manager, they usually don't do that to people. Sometimes they do it. You can have a good guy, but he's afraid of maybe losing his job. Maybe he's new. He's adhering to that policy strictly. So, the only way that you can avoid that situation really is to handle it up front. Handling it up front is going to be the way to go. And I mention it because I had done two inspections in the last 2 days at the same subdivision with two different building managers. Yesterday's building manager I've worked with many times over the last 4 or 5 years. He always asks me to let him know if there's any problem with the roof or if I go into the attic, because they don't allow the superintendents or the building managers on the roof and in the attic. So it's actually helpful to have someone go up there, and if they find something, communicate with the building manager. Hey, I found this here. I wanted to bring it to your attention because it's going to be in my report. They appreciate that, and it allows you to help your buyer, your customer, right? The second one that I worked with, very nice guy. I think he was just afraid of, consequences for not following company procedure, and that's completely understandable. But if we don't nip that up front, then I'm kind of in a situation where I've got to try and navigate through that the day of inspection. It's a lot harder to do it that way, the day of inspection. It's a lot easier if you and your real estate agent, remember, you have to have a real estate agent here, you and your real estate agent make it clear that if you're going to buy this home, that you're going to bring in your own inspector. And I'm speaking to you to hopefully benefit you as a buyer. I'm also speaking to you to help, maybe help you to make the decision to choose a good real estate agent, because that is so important in this transaction. I'm also speaking to you for this reason too, because if you don't do the inspection, you can move in and you can have something happen to you that was completely unexpected, and you don't want to do that. You want to minimize that possibility. I'm hoping to help you um, get through the process as effectively as you possibly can, getting the maximum benefit for your dollar when you pay for a home inspection. And I'm also doing this for other home inspectors too, because you have a lot of guys out there that are saying that's normal, that's this, that's that. It might be, and you do have to respect the rules and do all those things. But by the same token, there's also ways to communicate to see just how much of those rules can be bent a little bit to make sure that the customer is taken care of. Remember, you are the customer. You wouldn't just be the real estate agent's customer. You wouldn't just be our customer. You're also the builder's customer. So if the builder is benefiting from you being a customer, in my business where I come from, the customer is always right. So if the customer is always right, it stands to reason. If you want to have that home inspected the right way, what I'm sharing with you can help you do that. So I hope that this video is something that helps you. Again, I did it to really benefit home inspectors, buyers, and realtors alike, because I don't think that it's rational or reasonable for a builder or any homeowner to put restrictions on your inspection process based on what a home inspector's license says they ought to be doing. And in the state of Florida, we have certain things to look for, not just for inspecting for the buyer, but also for the buyer's potential insurance inspection needs. This is a whole other thing. So if you inhibit what we're able to do, it limits what we're able to do for the customer, and that would be wrong. So this is Paul with PJM Incorporated, the number one resource for home inspections in Central Florida. Thank you.